Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, let's understand how to use standalone component across the Angular application and the types of selectors which Angular 18 supports. So we can use the standalone component anywhere in the project. So how do we use them? We can use them with the help of selector. So every component will have a @component decorator where we provide the selector name, and using that selector we can use the component anywhere in the project. So let's understand this with an example. If you remember, in the last video we have created a new admin component with standalone feature and home component without standalone feature. But I have deleted the home component because we are learning Angular 18 tutorial. So I want to work with standalone component. So once we create component with command ng generate component name, you can see @component decorator inside the component.ts file, and inside component decorator there is a selector, and this selector starts with app hyphen. But if we are working on a real-time project, then the selector may appear with different name. So how we can find the selector name inside the application? We can find the selector name inside angular.json file. So here you can see line number 15 prefix is app. So this is the line because of which it's adding app hyphen inside selector. Also we can customize this prefix. For example, if I change it to FAD and save the changes, now when we create a component, it would be FAD hyphen component name. For example, you can see here ng generate component, about component. Okay, so you can see the component selector name here. Instead of app hyphen about, it is now FAD hyphen about. So we can customize this prefix as per the requirement. I don't want to revert the changes, and I'll delete this about component. So hope you guys understand this prefix, because as an Angular developer, we should know it is coming from where. So the selector name is coming from angular.json file. So now if you want to use the admin component inside app component, then what we have to do? If we add the selector of app admin inside app component, save the changes and go to the browser, here you will get an error. App component is not a known element because we are working on a standalone component. So if we want to use another component, we need to import that component first inside the imports array. So in order to use the admin component inside app component, I need to import it first. So now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see admin works. Okay, I'll add the color to this admin H3. This is admin component. Style equals to color brown. Save the changes. So this is admin component is in brown color. So this is how we can import the another component. So instead of this, we can import like app admin slash 2 times. This is admin component is displaying. So the first step is to import the component into the required component, and the second step is to add the selector inside template file whenever we want to display the required component. So with the help of these two steps, we can import any component entire Angular application. So next, we will see what are the types of selectors Angular 18 supports. A selector is used to identify each component uniquely. So I'll comment this, and Angular 18 supports 3 types of selector. One is type selector, second is attribute selector, and third is class selector. So we will see one by one. So the first is type selector, which is also called as tag name selector or element selector, because it selects an HTML tag or HTML element in Angular application. So now I want to use this admin component inside app component. So for type selector, we need to add the selector like this, and we can use this like app admin like this. Save the changes and you can see we can access the admin component inside app component. So now we will see the second attribute selector. For this attribute selector, we need to wrap this app admin inside square bracket. Okay, if I save the changes and you can see it is not working and it is throwing error, app admin is not an element. So once we wrap the selector as an attribute selector, we need to use it as an attribute. Like inside div, we can use that app admin as an attribute. Now you can see save the changes and we can use the admin component inside app component. So the difference between type selector and attribute selector is type selector we need to use as an HTML tag or HTML element, but attribute selector we need to use as an attribute. Now third is class selector. So Angular supports only one pseudo class as a selector, and that is not. Here we can append the pseudo class to any other selector. For example, here we are appending the not pseudo class with app admin attribute selector and preventing to match paragraph element or p element. So it means in this case, if you don't want to use this app admin component for paragraph tag, then you can use this selector with not pseudo class for the paragraph tag. So save the changes and here you can see now if I add the same app admin for paragraph tag, it will not display. You can see. And if I use the same with div or span tag, it will display. Okay. So with the help of this not pseudo class, we can prevent the tag to use the selector. So this was the third type of selector. Now at last, we can combine the selectors separated by comma. Like here we can use type selector as well as this pseudo class selector separated by comma. And if I want to use this type selector along with class selector, then you can see, save the changes, you can see two output. One is for span and one is for type selector. So we can also combine these two. For that, I'll just comment this and I'll uncomment this. You can see this is for type selector and this is for attribute selector. So this is all about selectors. We have seen how to use type selector, attribute selector, pseudo class selector, and also we have seen how to combine the selector. And the recommended approach to use selector is element selector. So that's it for this video. Hope you understand how to use standalone component across the Angular application and the different types of selectors Angular 18 supports. So thank you for visiting my channel and please support me to increase my subscriber. Thank you. Bye bye.